If you're spinning out of control, and you're falling fast, and you can't take the heat, or keep up with those around you, well, don't sink in deeper, because we've got something that'll soothe your nerves. Life's funniest moments. We've got brides who grumble and tots who tumble. A headless horse and too much force. A girl who can't hold a spoon. And some kids who can really bang out a tune. All on life's funniest moments. Get ready to giggle. It's Child's Play. Nobody else came to the park today, but that doesn't mean Bobby can't have fun playing football. Small problem. No one to hike to. And yet, he gets tackled. Little Julie doesn't want to play Ring Around the Rosie with her brother, but that won't stop him. It just means that after a pocket full of posies, it won't be we all fall down. Yeah, this was fine, but he did wonder how later was he going to handle the seesaw by himself. The Flying Wallendas don't fool around when it comes to their training program. You want to be a trapeze artist? It's a commitment from cradle to retirement. Sally was so excited. Last week, she learned to walk. This week, she's learning to dance. Tomorrow, she'll learn to put on a Band-Aid. Tonight on Baby Busters, we track a certain finicky eater named Brian C. and show with this hidden footage that when he's out with his friends, Brian will in fact eat spinach, carrots, liver, broccoli, and the rest of his breakfast oatmeal. All caught live on camera, red-handed, on Baby Busters. All right, well, okay, maybe he won't eat the broccoli. There's nothing like going back to the old playground you used to enjoy when you were a little kid. And weighed about 50 pounds less. After Brenda spilled Jacob's juice on the keyboard, they were told not to lay a finger on that piano. But that just proves the old saying, you can't stop the music.
Génial!
a note to college students wanting to make a little extra money. When you need a summer job, it might be worth it to look at what else there is besides flaming hoop holder. Get out some extra D batteries. It's toys.
She walks around the house like this.
Yep, that's a golden retriever sucking a pacifier.
Okay, fortune come.
Which explains why last year Dad passed out cigars that said,
Okay.
"It's a dog."
Give. Nope, sit. And then there's the pacifier. And then if we let her go, this is what she'll do. Fortune go. And then she walks around like this. There she is. Fortune stay. She really likes to play chase. She doesn't want to sit. Fortune sit.
And now, welcome back to a Corleone family Christmas. Little Jake is pooped out on his rocking horse. Ironically, when they asked him what he wanted for Christmas, he'd say, "Let me sleep on it." Whoa, that there's quite a tumble. But you know what they say, little lady? When you fall off a horse, get right back on. Or get a cookie and a hug. Time to laugh at wild animals. It's the great outdoors. Thinking back on it later, Phil realized his plan to show the town why he would make a great fire chief really backfired. Jack took the family game of Simon Says very seriously. So when they said, "Simon Says, ride a bike through the woods and fall off looking like a goofball," he did it. Bill here is trying to climb this tree without proper shoes or ropes or gloves or even a ladder. I think we can safely rule out that being the tree of knowledge. These guys are trying to push down this tree so they can have wood for a blazing bonfire. Though it looks like they're going to have to settle for a flickering campfire. Coming up, a real homewrecker. And one small step for baby, one giant step for baby kind. When we return with more of life's funniest moments. Welcome back to Life's Funniest Moments. Time to work out those smile muscles. It's athletes. Caroline's big plan to bring attention to the need for more sidewalks by skating all across the country was off to an auspicious finish. The cat's expression was scary and threatening, but as an audition for the new James Bond villain, it just wasn't going to cut it. Yes, Phil and his daughter are having a hard time getting up the hill. But don't worry, he's got a couple of tricks up his sleeve to get down. Tumbling and gravity. You know why bunnies are calm and quiet? Because they usually don't read the paper.
Carrot stocks plunge. Horrible. Trump said what to Rosie? Outrageous. You will be chased? What kind of horoscope is that?
Katya is planning to be a champion gymnast, which involves balancing backwards, dismounting energetically, jumping boldly, and flopping gracefully. Crank up the volume, because it's life's funniest moments unplugged. If you're going to take up kart racing, you might want to take out collision comprehensive and dry cleaning insurance. Edith was often given to bursts of decorating genius. And suddenly, that banister had to go. He couldn't say why, but Joe always felt like the odd man out. Bunkers had to agree with his owner, little old Mrs. Klinghauer. Turns out he was so cute. You just want to gobble him right up. Yes, you do. Yes, you do. The baby reached out, and yes, it was his first step across the great, wide-open living room. But before long, he would tame this land, establishing a fort where once a couch stood. Someone's getting a very nice homemade birthday surprise. And whoops. Well, fortunately, Laura's husband was a good sport who didn't mind blowing out the candles on a meatloaf instead. What you're about to see in this clip makes perfect sense when you realize little Tommy thought they were called belly goats instead of billy goats. And he wanted to act just like they did. These people are having a little bubbly to celebrate. Now, a lot of people choose champagne by year and vintage, but we say the main thing to look out for in champagne is the cork. And it looks like this pack of goats decided they had a day filled with one kid too many. Coming up, how sweet it ain't. And Pete really gets into his birthday. When we return with more of life's funniest moments. Welcome back to Life's Funniest Moments. Stop laughing and start chewing. It's time for Good Eats. This clip just proves that all across the world, babies like to play with their cake. And mommies like easy clean linoleum kitchen floors. This woman is enjoying nursing her cat. Yes, the kitty is no substitute for a baby, but on the other hand, he can drink milk, cry, and knock over piles of blocks just like the best of them. This was a fun party. Yeah, little Bobby would never forget this moment. Because his parents would play this home video every year at the holidays until he went to college. If this doesn't look like your local zoo, there's an explanation. Each night while the zookeeper was asleep, the giraffe managed to erase one more letter until the sign in front of his pen read, "Feed the animals." And it's time for another visit with Short-Term Memory Mary.
Oh, it looks yummy. Oh, I want to try that. Delicious. Wow.
Have you ever heard of the hello diet? It's all the rage in Italy. If you're trying to lose weight, you have someone come into the room and say hello when you're eating, and, well, you get the idea. There's nothing like laughing till milk comes out of your nose for stress relief. You can't blame Diego for being disappointed. This isn't going quite the way he had planned. He figured once you turned that baby on, it would have blasted him halfway to Florida for the winter. After an hour of playing, this looks like a dog who's having a lot of fun playing with a balloon. Or it could be a dog who's distracted while trying to get rid of a balloon. Either way, you've got to give the cat a lot of credit for getting that balloon tied to the dog's collar in the first place. It's fun teaching your dog to do this trick with his doggy bed.
Dig! 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 Dig!
What might not be so fun is coming home late at night and discovering he's learned how to do the same trick with your wife's silk 200-year-old antique chaise lounge. Then it'll be you sleeping on the doggy bed. Coming up, a bride with cold feet and fast hands. When we return with more of life's funniest moments. Welcome back to Life's Funniest Moments. It took Charles 3 years to get Janice to say she would marry him. And it looks like it's going to take to the honeymoon before she accepts the idea. See you next time.